My beloved child, I need to talk with you. Do not let this moment pass you by. Do not scroll away. Do not silence this whisper in your spirit. I am not calling you by accident. I am not interrupting your day without purpose. I am speaking because your heart has been carrying questions that no one else can answer. And deep inside, beneath the noise and the routine and the distractions, you have been hoping that I would speak directly to you. Yes, to you. You have felt it, haven't you? A gentle tug, that unexplainable pause, that sense that something more is happening right now. You tried to brush it off. You told yourself it was just emotion, just curiosity, just another video. But my beloved child, I move in ways that seem ordinary on the outside while heaven is arranging something extraordinary underneath. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is a call. There are moments in your life that carry weight, moments that quietly shape the direction of your future. This is one of them. I see the crossroads in front of you, even if you cannot yet see it clearly. I see the decisions forming in your thoughts. I see the weariness you have tried to hide. I see the silent prayers you whispered when no one else was listening. And I tell you now, I was listening. I am calling because I refuse to let you drift further into confusion. I am calling because you have been trying to carry burdens that were never meant for your shoulders. I am calling because the enemy of your peace has been loud lately, and my voice must be louder in your heart, not louder in volume, but louder in truth. Do not miss this call. So many times, my children ask me to speak, yet when I begin to move, they doubt it could really be me. They look for thunder, for spectacle, for something dramatic. But I often come as a whisper, steady and certain. I come as a father who leans close, not as a stranger shouting from a distance. Right now, I am leaning close to you. You may feel unworthy of this attention. You may think, why would God need to talk with me? But my beloved child, it is not about what you deserve. It is about my love. A loving father does not wait for perfection before he speaks. He speaks because he cares. He speaks because he sees danger ahead or blessing approaching. He speaks because relationship matters more than performance. There is something I must show you. There is something I must heal. There is something I must prepare you for. And if you miss this moment, you may delay what I have already aligned for your good. So quiet your heart for a moment. Breathe. Let the urgency you feel not create fear, but focus. This is not a warning wrapped in anger. This is an invitation wrapped in love. I am calling your name, not to condemn you, but to draw you closer. Stay with me now. Listen carefully. I need to talk with you. My beloved child, I am calling you now because this is a moment of alignment. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but in the unseen places where your destiny is shaped, pieces are moving. Doors are shifting. Paths are narrowing and widening at the same time. And I would not let you step forward without my voice guiding you. You have been asking me for clarity. Some nights you lay awake, staring into the dark, replaying conversations, decisions, and possibilities in your mind. You wonder if you missed something. You wonder if you waited too long. You wonder if you are about to make the wrong move. I have watched every restless thought. I have counted every tear you refused to let fall. I have heard the questions you were too tired to even finish in prayer. This is why I am speaking now. There are seasons when I remain quiet so that your faith can grow roots. And then there are seasons when I speak because the ground beneath you is about to change. You are stepping out of one chapter and into another, even if it does not yet look dramatic. Transition does not always come with fireworks. Sometimes it feels like uncertainty. Sometimes it feels like discomfort. Sometimes it feels like things falling apart. But my beloved child, sometimes what feels like falling apart is actually falling into place. You have sensed that something is shifting. Relationships feel different. Desires you once had no longer satisfy you. The dreams that used to excite you now feel small. And the things that once distracted you are losing their grip. That is not random. That is growth. That is me stretching your heart so you can carry more than you carried before. I am calling you now because hesitation is trying to creep in. Doubt has been whispering that you are not ready. Fear has been suggesting that you should wait just a little longer. But if you wait for perfect confidence, you will never move. If you wait until you feel no fear, you will remain in the same place. I do not call the ready. I ready the called. And you, my child, are being called into deeper trust. Imagine a father teaching his child to ride a bicycle. The child wobbles uncertain, afraid of falling. The father runs alongside, steadying the seat, whispering encouragement. There comes a moment when the father slowly lets go, not to abandon the child, but to show them they are stronger than they thought. The child may not realize at first that the father's hands are no longer holding them, but the father is still running close, ready to catch them if they fall. This is where you are. You think you are alone in this transition. You think you are unsupported. But I am running beside you. I am watching your balance strengthen. I am allowing you to feel the wind of responsibility and growth. Not because I want you to struggle, but because I want you to discover the strength I placed within you long ago. I'm also calling you now because there is something trying to distract you from this shift. Noise has increased around you. Opinions from others have grown louder. Unexpected inconveniences have tested your patience. These are not accidents. When you are near a breakthrough, resistance often intensifies. But resistance is not a sign to retreat. It is often confirmation that you are close to stepping into what I promised. Listen carefully. I am not rushing you, but I am awakening you. This timing matters. The connections forming around you matter. The ideas stirring in your heart matter. Even this very moment of listening matters. You are not here by chance. I orchestrated this encounter because your spirit needed confirmation. You asked me to guide you. I am guiding you. You asked me to speak. I am speaking. You asked me to show you the way. I am lighting it step by step, not mile by mile. Trust the timing of this call. Trust that I know the weight you can carry and the doors you are ready to walk through. I would not bring you to the edge of something new if I had not already prepared the ground beneath your feet. Stay close to my voice. There is more I must tell you. My beloved child, you have felt something shifting, and you were not imagining it. There has been a quiet stirring in your spirit, like the gentle movement of water before the tide changes. You could not explain it to anyone. If you tried, the words would feel too fragile, too uncertain. But deep within you, there has been a knowing that life cannot remain as it was. That restlessness you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. For a long time, you were comfortable in what was familiar. Even if it was not perfect, it was predictable. You knew how to manage it. You knew how to survive it. But now, what once felt stable feels tight. What once felt secure feels limiting. You are not losing your footing. You are outgrowing the ground you once stood on. When a seed is buried in the soil, it spends time in darkness. It may feel forgotten. It may feel hidden and pressed on every side. But beneath the surface, something miraculous is happening. The shell begins to crack. The old form cannot contain the life inside anymore. If the seed could speak, it might say, "I am breaking." But what is really happening is becoming. You, my child, are becoming. The discomfort you feel is not because I have left you. It is because I am drawing you forward. You are shedding old layers of thinking. You are questioning patterns that once controlled you. You are sensing that I am calling you into something deeper than routine faith or surface peace, and that awareness can feel unsettling. There are days when you wake up and feel hopeful for no clear reason, and there are other days when you feel unusually sensitive, as if your heart is closer to the surface. This emotional shift is not weakness. It is sensitivity to my movement. When I begin to rearrange the inside of you, your emotions often follow before your understanding does. You have also noticed certain doors closing. Conversations have changed. Opportunities you expected have faded. At first, you wondered if you had failed. You wondered if you misheard me. But I tell you now, not every closed door is rejection. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is redirection. Sometimes it is my gentle way of saying, there is more for you than this. Do not cling to what I am asking you to release. Change can feel like loss, even when it is leading to blessing. Think of a river carving its path through rock. The water does not fight the stone with violence. It flows steadily, patiently, shaping the landscape over time. In the same way, I have been shaping you. The pressures you faced were not random. They were carving resilience into your spirit. The disappointments were not meaningless. They were refining your expectations. You are not the same person you were a year ago. You are not even the same person you were a few months ago. There's more discernment in you now. There is more compassion. There is a deeper hunger for truth and authenticity. That hunger is a sign of growth. But growth requires transition. When an eagle teaches its young to fly, there comes a moment when the nest is no longer enough. The branches that once felt safe begin to feel small. The mother eagle does not push the young one out to harm it. She stirs the nest so that staying becomes uncomfortable. She knows that wings unused will never grow strong. And though the first flight feels terrifying, it reveals what was always possible. I am stirring your nest, my beloved child. Not to frighten you, but to free you. You may feel suspended between what was and what will be. That in-between place can feel lonely. It can feel unclear. But it is sacred. It is in this space that trust deepens. It is here that you learn to rely on my voice more than on visible evidence. Do not rush this shift, and do not resist it. Sit with me in it. Ask me what I am forming inside you. Let me show you what no longer fits and what is beginning to unfold. The shift you feel is real. It is not chaos. It is choreography. I am moving pieces you cannot see yet. And when the time is right, what feels uncertain now will make perfect sense. Stay attentive. Stay open. I am guiding you through this transition with more care than you realize. My beloved child, as you stand in this place of shifting and becoming, I must speak to the fear that has been trying to rise within you. I see how it whispers when you are alone. I see how it questions every step forward. Fear has a way of sounding reasonable. It tries to protect you from disappointment. It tries to convince you that staying still is safer than moving ahead. But I tell you gently and clearly, do not let fear silence this call. Fear says you are not ready. I say I have been preparing you longer than you know. Fear says you might fail. I say even your mistakes will be woven into purpose. Fear says you will be alone. I say I have never left your side. You have faced disappointment before, and the memory of it still lingers. You remember times when you stepped out in hope and things did not unfold the way you expected. That memory has built walls around your heart. You tell yourself you are being cautious, but sometimes caution becomes a cage. I do not ask you to ignore wisdom, but I do ask you to recognize when fear disguises itself as wisdom. There is a difference between discernment and fear. Discernment listens for my voice. Fear listens for worst-case scenarios. Discernment brings peace, even when the path is challenging. Fear brings tension, even when nothing is wrong. Learn to recognize the difference, my child. When you feel that tightness in your chest, that racing of thoughts that tries to pull you away from trust, pause. Breathe. Invite me into that moment. I do not scold you for feeling afraid. I draw closer. I place my steady presence around your trembling thoughts and remind you that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward while holding my hand. Imagine a small child standing at the edge of the ocean for the first time. The waves seem large. The sound is overwhelming. The child hesitates, unsure whether to step in. But when the father takes the child's hand and walks with them into the water, what once felt frightening becomes an adventure. The waves are still strong, but the child's confidence grows because they are not facing them alone. That is how I walk with you. The waves of change may still rise. The unknown may still stretch before you. But you are not stepping into it by yourself. My strength surrounds you. My wisdom guides you. My love anchors you when emotions try to pull you under. Fear also tries to remind you of your past mistakes. It replays moments you regret and whispers, "See, you cannot trust yourself." But I do not define you by your worst day. I do not measure your future by your former failures. Those seasons taught you. They humbled you. They shaped you. They did not disqualify you. My beloved child, your story is not fragile. It is held in my hands. The enemy of your peace would love for you to ignore this call because he knows that obedience unlocks growth. He knows that when you step forward in trust, chains begin to loosen. So he magnifies the risks and minimizes the promises. But I magnify hope. I magnify possibility. I magnify the strength I have placed within you. Do not let fear speak louder than my love. When you feel hesitation, bring it to me. Speak it honestly. Say, I am afraid. I am not offended by your honesty. I am moved by it. And as you name your fear, I will replace it with truth. I will remind you of the times you thought you would not survive. Yet here you are. I will remind you of the doors that opened unexpectedly. I will remind you of the peace that came at the last moment. You have more evidence of my faithfulness than of your failure. So as I call you deeper, do not shrink back. Do not assume the worst. Let my voice become the steady rhythm beneath your racing thoughts. Let my promises become louder than your doubts. You are safe with me. Fear does not get the final word. I do. And my word over you is love, strength, and forward movement. My beloved child, I have been waiting for this moment, not with impatience, not with frustration, but with longing. A loving father does not force the door open. He waits for his child to turn the handle from the inside. And now, as you lean in and listen, I feel your heart opening in a new way. I have always been near you. Even in the seasons when you felt distant from me, I did not step away. Even when you stopped praying as often, even when you questioned, even when you wandered in your thoughts, I remained steady. My love for you has never been fragile. It has not weakened because of doubt. It does not disappear because of confusion. It does not retreat because of mistakes. There is a story you may know, a story of a child who left his father's house, searching for freedom, chasing independence, believing he knew better. He wandered far, spent everything, and eventually found himself empty and ashamed. But when he decided to return home, rehearsing apologies in his mind, the father did not stand at the door with crossed arms. The father ran to him. He embraced him before a single apology could be spoken. "My beloved child, that is my heart toward you. This call is not about reminding you of where you failed. It is about reminding you where you belong. You have carried a quiet fear that you disappointed me. You have wondered if I grew tired of your repeated struggles. But listen closely. I am not counting your stumbles. I am counting your breaths. I am watching your effort to keep going. I see the way you try even when you feel weak. And I am proud of the perseverance you do not even recognize in yourself. I have been waiting for this deeper conversation because relationship is what I desire most. Not performance. Not perfection. Not religious routine. I want your real thoughts. Your unfiltered questions. Your unpolished heart. Sometimes you think you must clean yourself up before coming to me. You imagine that you must resolve every doubt, conquer every habit, fix every flaw before I will draw close. But that is not how a father loves. I do not say, improve first, then come. I say, come, and we will grow together. There have been moments when you felt a gentle nudge to spend time with me, but distractions won. There were times when you sensed I was inviting you into quiet, but your mind raced elsewhere. I was not offended. I understood your weariness. I understood your responsibilities. I understood the noise around you. And I kept waiting patiently for this moment when your heart would slow down enough to truly listen. And now you are here. This is not coincidence. This is connection. You may not realize how much I cherish these moments with you. When you pause your busy thoughts to consider my voice, when you allow your defenses to soften, when you open your heart even a little, that is sacred to me. You are not just another soul in a vast universe. You are my beloved child. I know the sound of your sigh. I recognize the rhythm of your heartbeat. I have waited for this moment because I know what lies ahead for you. I know the growth, the healing, the assignments, the blessings. And I also know that without intimacy with me, those things would feel overwhelming. So before I lead you further, I draw you closer. Think of a craftsman shaping something precious. Before he entrusts it with greater weight, he strengthens its foundation. Before he adds intricate detail, he ensures stability. In the same way, I am deepening your connection with me. Not to control you, but to steady you. You are not behind schedule. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are right on time for this conversation. I have been waiting not because I was distant, but because I honor your freedom. Love does not demand, it invites. And now, as you respond to this call, know that I receive you with open arms. Come closer still, my child. There is more I want to share with you. My beloved child, before I speak further into your future, I must gently ask you to lay down the noise. There is so much sound around you. So many voices offering opinions. So many expectations pulling at your attention. Even when you are physically alone, your mind is rarely quiet. Thoughts rush in like a crowded marketplace, each one demanding to be heard. But my voice does not compete with chaos. You rest in stillness. You have been trying to hear me while holding on to worry. You have been asking for clarity while scrolling through distractions. You have been longing for peace while entertaining anxiety. I do not say this to shame you. I say it to invite you into something better. Be still, my beloved child, and know that I am God. Stillness is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is trust that does not need to rush. When you quiet your heart, you create space for truth to settle. When you slow your breathing, you allow my presence to become real to you again. Think of a lake on a windy day. The surface is disturbed, ripples crossing in every direction. If you tried to look into the water, you would see only distortion. But when the wind calms, the surface becomes clear, and the reflection sharpens. In the same way, when your thoughts are restless, it is hard to perceive what I am showing you. When you allow the wind of anxiety to settle, clarity comes naturally. You do not need to force stillness. You simply need to choose it. Turn off what is unnecessary. Step away from what drains you. Sit with me without an agenda. You do not always need long prayers or perfect words. Sometimes it is enough to whisper, "I am here." And in that moment, you will sense that I am here too. The world trains you to react quickly, to respond instantly, to fill every silence with sound. But I often move in the quiet spaces between your thoughts. I speak in the gentle awareness that comes when you are no longer trying to solve everything yourself. You have been carrying mental clutter, regrets from yesterday, imagined problems from tomorrow, conversations that have not even happened yet. Lay them down. One by one, release them to me. Say, "This thought does not need to control me," and let it pass. You are not responsible for controlling the entire future. You are responsible for trusting me in this present moment. When you sit in stillness, you may feel uncomfortable at first. Old emotions may surface. Unfinished grief may rise. Questions you avoided may knock at the door of your heart. Do not run from them. Bring them to me. I am not afraid of your complexity. I am not overwhelmed by your emotions. I am steady enough to hold all of it. There is a sacred exchange that happens in quiet. You bring me your noise, I give you my peace. You bring me your tension, I give you my assurance. You bring me your confusion, I give you my gentle direction. You do not need to strive for my attention. You already have it. Right now, even as you listen, let your shoulders relax. Let your breathing slow. Picture yourself placing your burdens into my hands. Imagine me taking them without hesitation. Feel the lightness that comes when you realize you were never meant to carry everything alone. Stillness is not empty. It is full of my presence. The more you practice this quiet surrender, the clearer my guidance will become. You will begin to recognize my voice not as something distant, but as something familiar, like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat you have known all your life. Lay down the noise, my beloved child. Step into the calm. I am waiting for you there. My beloved child, now that you are becoming still, I want you to know something deeply and without doubt. I know what you are carrying. You have become skilled at appearing strong. You know how to smile when people ask if you are fine. You know how to change the subject when conversations drift too close to your pain. You have learned how to function even when your heart feels heavy. But I see beyond the surface. I see what you hold in the quiet corners of your soul. I see the responsibilities that feel heavier than you admit. I see the expectations you place on yourself. I see the silent comparison that sometimes steals your joy. I see the regret that replays in your mind late at night. You wonder if anyone truly understands the weight of it all. My child, I understand completely. There are burdens you never intended to carry for so long. What began as temporary pressure became a constant companion. You told yourself you would handle it. You convinced yourself you could manage alone. But even strength has limits. And you were never meant to endure everything without support. When you feel exhausted in ways sleep cannot fix, that is often the fatigue of the soul. When you feel irritable without knowing why, that is often unprocessed pain asking for attention. When you feel distant from joy, it is not because joy has abandoned you. It is because your heart has been overloaded. Come closer. Let me lift what you have been gripping so tightly. Imagine a traveler walking a long road with a heavy pack strapped to their back. At first, the weight feels manageable. But mile after mile, the load digs deeper into their shoulders. Eventually, even the smallest incline feels overwhelming. When someone finally offers to carry the pack, the traveler hesitates. They have grown used to the burden. It feels almost unfamiliar to let it go. You, my beloved child, have grown used to carrying too much. You carry responsibility for others' happiness. You carry guilt for things beyond your control. You carry fear about the future. You carry memories of past wounds. And somewhere along the way, you began to believe it was your duty to hold it all together. But I did not design you to be the savior of everyone around you. That role is mine. You are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to admit that some days are harder than you expected. You are allowed to say, "This is too much for me." When you speak those words to me, you are not failing. You are trusting. I see the hidden tears you wiped away quickly. I saw the moment your heart broke and you pretended it did not. I saw the disappointment you swallowed because you did not want to burden anyone else. None of it was invisible to me. And hear this clearly, your pain does not make you weak. It makes you human. And your humanity is not something I reject. It is something I cherish. I am not disappointed in your limits. I created them. Limits remind you that you need me. They draw you back into my arms when you try to carry more than you should. Right now, I am inviting you into an exchange. Give me your heaviness, and I will give you rest. Give me your anxious thoughts, and I will give you steadiness. Give me your self-criticism, and I will give you compassion. You do not have to explain everything perfectly. You do not have to package your emotions neatly. Just come honestly. When you begin to release what you are carrying, you may feel vulnerable. You may fear that without the burden, you will lose control. But control has been exhausting you. Trust has the power to restore you. I am strong enough for what overwhelms you. I am patient with what confuses you. I am gentle with what wounds you. You are not alone in your struggle. You never were. Let me carry what you cannot. Let me hold what feels fragile. Let me breathe peace into the parts of you that have been tense for too long. My beloved child, I know what you are carrying, and I am ready to carry it with you. My beloved child, before you allow your heart to grow anxious about this conversation, I need you to hear me clearly. You are not in trouble. You may have felt a tightening inside when I said I needed to speak with you. Perhaps part of you braced for correction. Perhaps you wondered if I was about to list your failures or point out where you fell short. That expectation did not come from me. It came from old wounds, from voices that misunderstood my heart. I do not call you close to condemn you. I call you close to comfort you. Yes, I guide. Yes, I correct when needed. But my correction is never wrapped in shame. It is wrapped in love. When a loving father sees his child walking toward danger, he does not shout in anger to humiliate. He reaches out firmly to protect. This urgency is not rejection, it is care. If I bring something to your attention, it is not to expose you, but to free you. You have carried an unnecessary fear that I am easily disappointed. You imagine me watching you with a critical eye, waiting for you to misstep. But that image is not true. My gaze upon you is tender. I see your intention even when your execution falters. I see your effort even when the outcome is imperfect. Grace is not fragile, my child. It is strong. There are things in your life that need adjustment. Yes. There are patterns that no longer serve you. There are habits that drain your joy. But I do not point these out to push you away. I reveal them to bring you into greater freedom. I am not tallying your wrongs. I am leading you toward wholeness. Sometimes you discipline yourself more harshly than I ever would. You replay your mistakes repeatedly, punishing yourself with thoughts like, I should have known better, or I always mess things up. Those words are heavy. They are not my voice. My voice says, you are learning. My voice says, you are growing. My voice says, you are still mine. Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall again and again. If the father scolded the child for every stumble, the child would become afraid to try. But instead, the father claps, encourages, lifts the child up, and says, try again. The falling is part of the learning. It is not proof of failure. In the same way, your journey includes missteps. It includes wrong turns. It includes moments when you chose from fear instead of trust. But those moments do not erase your identity. They do not cancel my love. They do not disqualify you from the future I am shaping. You are not on probation with me. There may be convictions that rise gently in your heart, small nudges to change direction or let go of something unhealthy. That is my spirit guiding you. Conviction is specific and hopeful. It points to a better path. Condemnation, however, is vague and heavy. It leaves you feeling worthless. That weight is not from me. If you ever feel crushed under shame, pause and ask, is this leading me closer to God or further away? If it pushes you into hiding, it is not my voice. I call you into light, not into shadows. My beloved child, I am proud of your willingness to listen. I am pleased by your openness. I do not see you as a problem to fix. I see you as a person to love. So release the fear that this conversation is about punishment. It is about partnership. It is about drawing you into a deeper understanding of who you are and who I created you to be. When I say I need to talk with you, it is because I treasure you. When I say do not miss this call, it is because I want you near, not because I am angry. Rest in this truth. You are not in trouble. You are in process. And I am walking that process with you, step by step, with patience and unwavering love. My beloved child, now that you understand you are not in trouble, I must gently tell you something that may stretch you. I am calling you higher. Do not let that word intimidate you. Higher does not mean harder. It does not mean heavier in a way that crushes you. It means deeper trust, clearer vision, stronger faith. It means stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. You have grown comfortable in certain spaces. Even your struggles have become familiar. You know how to navigate them. You know how to survive them. But survival is not the same as living. And I did not design you merely to survive your days. I designed you to flourish in them. There is more courage in you than you have used. There is more wisdom in you than you have trusted. There is more influence in you than you realize. Think of an eagle teaching its young to fly. The young eagle grows in the nest, fed and protected. The nest is safe. It is warm. It is predictable. But if the young eagle never leaves that nest, its wings will remain unused. They will exist, but they will never fulfill their purpose. At a certain moment, the mother eagle stirs the nest. She removes the soft lining. She makes it uncomfortable to stay. Not because she wants to hurt her young, but because she knows what they were created for. Eventually, she nudges them toward the edge. The first drop feels terrifying. The ground looks far away. But as the young eagle falls, something awakens. Instinct, strength, ability. Wings begin to move. Their catches beneath them. What felt like falling becomes flying. My beloved child, I am stirring your nest. The discomfort you feel is not rejection. It is invitation. You are sensing that you cannot remain where you were. Old habits feel smaller. Old fears feel less convincing. Old dreams feel incomplete. That is because I am expanding your capacity. Higher means trusting me in places where you once doubted. Higher means speaking truth when you once stayed silent. Higher means believing in the gifts I placed inside you instead of dismissing them as insignificant. You may say, but I am not ready. Yet readiness is often discovered in the movement, not before it. When I call you higher, I also provide what you need to rise. I do not send you into the sky without wings. There are conversations you will need to have, boundaries you will need to set, decisions you will need to make, not out of anger or pride, but out of growth. Growth requires leaving something behind, and leaving can feel like loss, even when it is leading to freedom. You are not abandoning your past. You are building upon it. Every lesson, every tear, every disappointment has strengthened your wings. What once broke your heart now gives you empathy. What once confused you now gives you discernment. What once frightened you now gives you testimony. Higher also means drawing closer to me, not just in moments of crisis, but in daily trust. It means choosing faith when circumstances tempt you to doubt. It means allowing my perspective to shape your reactions. When challenges come, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you will begin to ask, "What is God forming in me?" You are capable of more peace than you currently experience. You are capable of more discipline, more love, more impact. I would not call you higher if I did not know you could rise. Do not be afraid of the edge. The edge is not the end. It is the beginning of flight. You were never meant to stay confined by fear or limited by old narratives. You were created with wings of purpose and strength. Trust me as I guide you toward the air. I am not pushing you away from safety. I am leading you into destiny. Come, my beloved child. Lift your eyes. There is sky ahead of you. My beloved child, as I call you higher, you must understand something sacred. There is an assignment on your life. You are not an accident drifting through time. You are not simply surviving random days. I formed you with intention. I placed gifts within you before you ever recognized them. I wove compassion into your heart, resilience into your spirit, creativity into your mind. Even the battles you fought were shaping tools you would one day use to help someone else stand. There are people whose healing is connected to your obedience. You may not stand on large stages. You may not have crowds applauding you. But influence is not measured by volume. Sometimes the most powerful assignments unfold in quiet conversations, in private encouragement, in unseen acts of faithfulness. A single word you speak at the right time can redirect someone's entire future. I have allowed you to walk through certain valleys so you could recognize the path when someone else is lost in it. I have comforted you in hidden seasons so that you would know how to comfort others gently. Nothing you endured was wasted. It was training. But here is what you must hear clearly. Your assignment requires your yes. I will not force it from you. I will not manipulate you into it. Love invites, it does not coerce. Yet when you say yes to me, even in small things, the ripple effect is greater than you imagine. One obedient step opens doors you cannot yet see. One surrendered habit creates room for new strength. One act of courage unlocks freedom for others. Do not underestimate the weight of your obedience. You sometimes compare yourself to others and think your role is smaller. But comparison clouds clarity. I did not design you to replicate another story. I designed you to live yours fully. The world does not need another copy. It needs the authentic expression of who I created you to be. There are ideas I have placed in your heart that you have brushed aside. There are nudges you felt but postponed. There are dreams you labeled unrealistic. I am stirring them again. Not all at once, not in overwhelming waves, but steadily. I am reminding you that you were created to carry light into specific spaces. This assignment is not about pressure. It is about purpose. And as you step into it, remember that you are not working alone. I go before you, preparing hearts. I walk beside you, strengthening resolve. I stand behind you, guarding what you build. Your role is obedience. Mine is provision. Do not miss this moment of alignment. Your life has meaning far beyond what you see today. Now, my beloved child, as this message has reached your heart and awakened purpose within you, I am inviting you into something deeper. When you choose to support the spreading of my word through this channel, through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description, and even shown as a QR code in this video, you are not giving to a platform. You are sowing seed into soil that carries my voice to hearts who are desperate to hear me. As I have said, give and it shall be given unto you, and I speak that promise over you even now. When you place your hand to support this mission, you are placing your hand into mine. This is your moment to water the harvest of souls, to keep the lamp burning for someone still walking in darkness. Do not delay the obedience I am stirring within you. Let your giving become a river that flows beyond your own life. I bless the seed you release, and I declare that it will return to you in peace, provision, and spiritual increase. Step forward now. Sow into this work and become part of the harvest I am raising. My beloved child, now that you understand there is an assignment on your life, you must also understand why the resistance has increased. The enemy has tried to distract you, not always with obvious temptation, not always with dramatic chaos. Sometimes distraction comes quietly. It comes in the form of busyness that feels productive but leaves you spiritually drained. It comes in endless scrolling, endless comparing, endless noise. It comes in small discouragements that slowly chip away at your confidence. When you are close to breakthrough, distraction intensifies. You may have noticed that just as you began to feel clarity, something pulled your focus away. Just as you sensed peace, a sudden problem demanded your attention. Just as you decided to grow, old habits knocked at your door again. This is not coincidence. When you begin to align with purpose, resistance often surfaces to test your resolve. But hear me clearly. Distraction does not mean defeat. The enemy cannot steal what I have placed in you, but he can attempt to delay it by scattering your focus. If he cannot destroy your calling, he will try to dilute it. If he cannot silence your faith, he will try to exhaust it. That is why you have felt unusually tired at times, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually. You have been fighting small battles you did not even realize were battles. There were moments when doubt whispered, maybe this message isn't really for you. There were moments when comparison said, others are more qualified. There were moments when discouragement said, why even try? These whispers are subtle, but they aim to weaken your confidence before you ever step forward. Discernment is rising within you now. I am sharpening your awareness so you can recognize distraction for what it is. Not every opportunity is an assignment. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every urgency is from me. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is say no to what pulls you away from peace. Think of a traveler walking toward a clear destination. Along the path are side roads, some appealing, some curious, some seemingly harmless. If the traveler turns onto every side road, progress slows. The journey becomes confusing. Energy is wasted. But when the traveler keeps their eyes on the horizon and measures each turn carefully, the path becomes efficient and purposeful. You are that traveler. The horizon is the calling I have placed before you. The side roads are distractions dressed as necessity. I am teaching you to pause before turning. To ask, is this aligned with what God is building in me? You do not need to fight every distraction aggressively. You simply need to remain focused. Light does not argue with darkness, it shines. Purpose does not wrestle with confusion. It moves steadily forward. Some distractions come through people, not because they are evil, but because they are unaware of the growth happening within you. They may expect you to remain who you were. They may resist your boundaries. They may misunderstand your silence. Do not respond with anger. Respond with clarity. Growth sometimes changes relationships, and that is part of the process. Other distractions come from within, old insecurities resurfacing, comfort zones calling you back. Familiarity can feel safer than progress. But remember what I told you. You have outgrown the nest. My beloved child, you are not weak for feeling the pull of distraction. You are human. But you are also empowered by my spirit. When you feel your focus slipping, return to stillness. Return to my voice. Ask me to realign your heart. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your spiritual muscle. Every time you choose obedience over ease, you sharpen your destiny. Do not be discouraged by the resistance. Let it remind you that what lies ahead is valuable. The enemy does not fight what has no impact. Stay steady. Stay attentive. I am guarding your path even as you walk it. Your breakthrough is not fragile. It is forming, and no distraction can cancel what I have ordained. My beloved child, there is something tender I must speak to you now. I have spoken to you before, and you doubted. Not because you are rebellious, not because you do not love me, but because you feared trusting what you could not see. There were moments when you sensed my guidance clearly, a quiet instruction in your heart, a gentle nudge to move, to wait, to release, to speak. And yet, you hesitated. You wondered, is this really God or is this just me? I was not offended by your question. Discernment grows through relationship. Just as a child learns to recognize a parent's voice in a crowded room, you are learning to recognize mine among the many voices in your life. That learning takes time, and takes experience, and takes courage. There were times when you obeyed and things did not unfold the way you expected. You thought, maybe I heard wrong. But obedience does not always lead to immediate comfort. Sometimes it leads to growth. Sometimes it leads to pruning. Sometimes it leads through valleys before it reaches open fields. Do not measure my voice by instant results. When I speak, I see the full picture. You see only a fragment. You judge outcomes quickly, I measure impact across years. A door that closed after you stepped forward was not proof you misheard me. It may have been proof that I was protecting you from something you could not see. You have replayed certain decisions in your mind, asking whether you missed my direction. Let that burden go. I am not waiting for you to achieve perfect spiritual accuracy. I am walking with you as you learn. Imagine a child learning to write. Their first letters are uneven. Their lines cross awkwardly. But the parent does not criticize the imperfect strokes. The parent celebrates the effort and gently guides the hand. Over time, the handwriting becomes stronger and clearer. In the same way, your ability to hear me strengthens as you practice trust. You have grown more sensitive to my peace. You have noticed that when you move in alignment with me, even if circumstances are uncertain, there is a steady calm beneath it. And when you move against my prompting, there is often a quiet unrest that lingers. That inner peace is one of the ways I guide you. I am persistent, my beloved child. Not in pressure, but in patience. When you ignore a nudge, I do not withdraw in frustration. I wait. I circle back. I confirm. I send reminders through conversations, through scriptures, through moments of stillness. I am committed to your growth. This message is confirmation. The stirring you have felt is not random. The ideas that keep returning are not accidents. The conviction that rises gently when you consider certain choices is my spirit guiding you. Trust does not require you to feel fearless. It requires you to move despite uncertainty. You will not always hear me in thunder. Often my voice feels like clarity rather than volume. It feels like a settled knowing. It feels like a steady pull that does not fade with time. And when you make a decision in good faith, even if it turns out differently than expected, I am still able to guide your steps. I am not limited by your humanity. I am able to redirect, to restore, to refine, to release the fear of mishearing me. Instead, cultivate closeness. Spend time in stillness. Ask questions. Wait for peace. Move in faith. And if you stumble, come back to me without shame. Our relationship is not fragile. It is enduring. You are learning my voice, and I am delighted by your desire to listen. Do not doubt every whisper of hope. Do not dismiss every nudge toward growth. I am nearer than you think, guiding you with more precision than you realize. Trust that I am speaking, and trust that as you continue to walk with me, my voice will become clearer with every step. My beloved child, I want to take you back for a moment, not to reopen wounds, but to redeem them in your understanding. Your pain was not wasted. There were seasons you would never choose again. Nights when the silence felt heavy. Days when disappointment settled into your chest like a stone. Prayers that seemed unanswered. Doors that closed without explanation. You wondered where I was in those moments. I was closer than your breath. When you walked through the valley, it felt like loss. It felt like delay. It felt unfair. But valleys shape depth in ways mountaintops never can. On the mountain, you celebrate. In the valley, you are transformed. You learned compassion in places where you were once naive. You learned discernment where you were once trusting too quickly. You learned resilience when you realized you had to keep walking even without visible reward. These lessons were not punishments. They were preparation. Imagine a piece of gold being refined. In its raw state, it carries impurities. It has potential, but it is not yet purified. When placed in fire, the heat reveals what does not belong. The fire is uncomfortable. It looks destructive. But the purpose is not to ruin the gold. It is to reveal its brilliance. The fire in your life was not sent to destroy you. It revealed your strength. There were moments you thought you would not recover. Moments when your confidence fell shattered. Yet here you are. Not untouched by pain, but stronger because of it. The very experiences that tried to silence you have given you a voice of empathy. You now recognize pain in others more quickly. You notice the subtle signs of someone struggling behind a smile. The awareness did not come from comfort. It came from experience. Nothing you endured was random. Even the delays carried meaning. While you thought I was withholding, I was building. While you felt forgotten, I was forming character in hidden places. Growth that happens in private often sustains influence in public. You have scars, yes, but scars are evidence of healing. An open wound is vulnerable and exposed. The scar tells a story of survival. It says, I was hurt, but I am still here. Do not despise your scars. They are not signs of weakness. They are proof of endurance. There were prayers you prayed that seemed unanswered. But sometimes unanswered prayers are protection in disguise. If I had granted certain requests exactly as you asked, you might have stepped into situations that would have broken you further. My no was not rejection. It was care. There were relationships that ended and left you confused. There were opportunities that slipped through your fingers. Yet looking back, you can see small glimpses of wisdom in those closures. You can see how they redirected you. Your pain did not disqualify you from purpose. It deepened you for it. Think of a tree planted by water. Its roots grow downward before its branches stretch upward. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree can withstand storms. The storms you faced forced your roots deeper into trust. You learned to rely on me when everything else felt unstable. You are not who you were before the valley. You are wiser. You are more grounded. You are less impressed by surface appearances and more anchored in truth. I never delight in your suffering, but I redeem it. I weave it into a larger story. I take what was meant to break you and shape it into something that strengthens you. Do not look back at your painful seasons with only sorrow. Look at them with recognition. See how far you have come. See how much you have grown. See how my hand sustained you even when you could not see it clearly. My beloved child, your pain was not wasted. It was refining you, preparing you, positioning you. And now, as you step forward into what I am building next, you do not walk as someone untouched by hardship. You walk as someone tempered by it, stronger, deeper, and ready for more. My beloved child, there is something gentle but powerful I must ask of you now. Forgive yourself. You have asked me for forgiveness many times, and I have given it freely, completely, without hesitation. Yet even after receiving my mercy, you sometimes hold on to your own condemnation. You replay old memories. You revisit past decisions. You speak to yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you love. Why do you extend grace to others but withhold it from yourself? I do not rehearse your failures the way you do. I do not wake each morning reviewing your past mistakes. When I forgive, I release. When I restore, I do not keep a hidden record. The weight you continue to carry is not placed on you by me. You say, if only I had chosen differently. You say, if only I had known better. But you made decisions with the understanding you had at the time. You were growing. You were learning. You were navigating life with limited vision. You are not meant to judge your past self with the wisdom you gained later. Imagine looking at a child's drawing and criticizing it because it does not look like a master's painting. That would be unfair. The child created that drawing with the skill they possessed at that moment. In In the same way, your past decisions reflect the maturity you had then. Growth means you see more clearly now. It does not mean you must punish who you were. Shame tries to anchor you to yesterday. Race invites you into today. There are moments you wish you could rewrite. Words you wish you had not spoken. Opportunities you wish you had taken. But dwelling in regret will not alter what has already passed. It will only cloud what is ahead. I do not want you trapped in a version of yourself that no longer exists. You are not the same person who made those mistakes. You have learned. You have matured. You have reflected. That is evidence of transformation. When you hold on to self-condemnation, you deny the work I have done in you. You act as if you are still who you used to be. Let that old identity go. Forgiving yourself does not mean pretending nothing happened. It means acknowledging the lesson and releasing the punishment. It means saying, I cannot change the past, but I can grow from it. It means allowing my mercy to become real in your own self-talk. When guilt rises, bring it to me. If there is something that requires amends, I will guide you. But if it is simply old shame trying to resurface, let it pass. Not every painful memory is meant to be relived. Some are meant to be laid down. My beloved child, you cannot step fully into your assignment while chained to your former self. Think of a traveler carrying an old suitcase filled with items from a previous season. The suitcase is heavy, and many of its contents are no longer useful. Yet the traveler refuses to open it, afraid of facing what is inside. As long as it remains unopened, it continues to weigh them down. Open the suitcase. Look at what you have been carrying. Acknowledge it. Learn from it. Then leave behind what no longer serves you. I do not define you by your worst moment. I define you by your identity as my beloved child. Your value was never based on flawless performance. It was rooted in my love from the beginning. You are allowed to grow beyond your past. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to become someone wiser without being haunted by who you once were. Release the harsh inner voice. Replace it with my voice. When you are tempted to say, I failed, let my truth rise and say, you learn. When you are tempted to say, I ruined everything, let my truth answer, I am restoring. Forgive yourself, my beloved child. Not because you were perfect, but because you are forgiven. And forgiven people are meant to walk free. My beloved child, now that you are loosening your grip on the past and learning to forgive yourself, I want you to lift your eyes toward hope again. I am restoring what was lost. You have felt the ache of lost time, opportunities that slipped away, years that seemed consumed by survival rather than progress. You look back and wonder how things might have been different if circumstances had changed sooner. But I am not limited by the calendar. I am not constrained by human timelines. What you think was wasted, I am able to redeem. There were seasons when you felt stuck, as though life was moving forward for everyone else while you remained in place. But even in those quiet years, roots were growing beneath the surface. Character was forming. Faith was being strengthened. Wisdom was accumulating. You were not stagnant. You were being prepared. Restoration does not always mean returning something exactly as it was. Sometimes it means returning it better, wiser, healthier, stronger. There are relationships you thought were permanently broken. Some may not return in the same form, but I can heal your heart from their impact. I can restore your ability to trust. I can rebuild your sense of security. And in some cases, I can bring reconciliation in ways you never expected. There are dreams you quietly buried because disappointment hurt too deeply. You told yourself it was safer not to hope again. But hope is not your enemy. Fear is. And I am gently uncovering dreams you thought were over. Imagine a field after a harsh winter. The ground appears barren. The trees stand bare. Everything seems lifeless. But beneath the soil, life remains. Seeds lie dormant, waiting for the right season. When spring arrives, what once looked dead begins to bloom. Your life is not barren. It has been in a season of preparation. I am breathing new life into areas you thought were beyond repair. Not instantly, not magically without process, but steadily. You will begin to notice small signs of renewal. A new opportunity. A awakening. A restored confidence. A peace that surprises you. Trust those small signs. Restoration also means restoring your sense of identity. For a while, you allowed disappointment to define you. You began to see yourself through the lens of what did not work out. But I see you through promise, not loss. I see you through destiny, not delay. You may not recover every exact detail of what was lost, but you will recover joy. You will recover purpose. You will recover strength. And sometimes, what replaces the old will exceed it in ways you could not have imagined. Do not cling so tightly to how you think restoration must look. Leave room for me to surprise you. I am able to restore lost time by accelerating growth. I am able to restore lost opportunities by opening new doors. I am able to restore lost confidence by reminding you who you are in me. There were moments you felt like you were falling behind. But I do not measure your life against others. I measure it according to my plan. And my plan has not been interrupted. Even your setbacks have been woven into your story. My beloved child, do not let regret blind you to the renewal already beginning. Look around with new eyes. Notice the subtle shifts, the new desire stirring in you, the old fears losing their grip. These are signs of restoration at work. You are not too late. You are not permanently behind. You are not forgotten. I am restoring what was lost in ways that align with who you are becoming now. Trust the process. Stay open. And watch as life begins to bloom again in places you thought were finished. My beloved child, as restoration begins to unfold, I am asking you to trust me with the unknown. You want clarity. You want the full map. You want reassurance that every step ahead will be safe and successful. That desire is natural. But faith does not grow when every detail is visible. Faith grows when you take the next step without seeing the entire staircase. Right now, there are areas of your life that feel uncertain. Decisions that have not fully formed. Outcomes that remain hidden. You ask me what will happen. Where is this leading? How will this work out? And I answer you gently, walk with me. Imagine standing before a long bridge that disappears into fog. You cannot see the other side. You do not know what waits there, but you trust the one who built the bridge. So you step forward. With each step, the fog shifts just enough for you to see a little farther. Not the entire distance, just enough for the next move. This is how I guide you. If I showed you everything at once, you might feel overwhelmed. You might try to control what is meant to unfold naturally. You might rely on your own strength instead of leaning into mine. So I reveal what you need, when you need it. Trust does not mean you will never feel uncertain. It means you choose to move forward despite uncertainty. There was a man long ago whom I asked to leave his familiar land and step into a promise he could not yet see. He did not have a detailed blueprint. He had a direction and my word. I was enough. And because he walked in obedience, Generations were blessed through his courage. You are not asked to understand everything. You are asked to trust. The unknown feels threatening because it exposes your lack of control. But control has never been your true security. I am. When you try to grip the future tightly, anxiety increases. When you place it in my hands, peace grows. You have already trusted me through things you once thought were impossible. There were seasons you did not know how you would endure, yet you did. There were problems you could not solve, yet solutions came. Why do you assume I will abandon you now? The path ahead may include challenges. I do not promise a life free of difficulty, but I do promise my presence in every difficulty. You will not face what is coming alone. When doubt whispers, "What if it goes wrong?" answer it with, "What if God goes with me?" Because I do. You may fear making the wrong choice, but when your heart is aligned with me, I am able to guide even your imperfect decisions. If you step slightly off course, I am capable of redirecting you gently. Your future is not so fragile that one misstep can destroy it. Release the need to know everything. Instead, cultivate daily trust. Wake each morning and say, "Lead me today." Focus on faithfulness in small things. The larger picture will unfold in time. The unknown is not empty. It is filled with my preparation. I am already present in your tomorrow. I am already arranging conversations, aligning opportunities, softening hearts, and clearing obstacles. You do not see it yet, but movement is happening beyond your awareness. My beloved child, trust me with the parts you cannot see. Walk forward with courage anchored in relationship, not in certainty. The bridge will hold you. The fog will part as needed. And step by step, you will realize that what once felt frightening has become the very path that strengthened your faith. Stay close to me. The unknown becomes less intimidating when you know the one who leads you through it. My beloved child, as you walk into what you cannot yet see, I want to anchor this truth deeply in your heart. You are not alone in this. Loneliness has tried to convince you otherwise. There have been moments when you felt isolated in your thoughts, separated in your struggles, unseen in your efforts. Even surrounded by people, you sometimes felt as though no one truly understood what was happening inside you. But isolation is a feeling, not a fact. I have never stepped away from you. Before you wake each morning, I am present. When you move through your day, navigating responsibilities and conversations, I am attentive. When you lie down at night and your mind replays the day's events, I am still there, steady and aware. There is no hour in which my presence withdraws. You may not always sense me emotionally. You may not feel dramatic reassurance. But my presence is not dependent on your feelings. It is constant. Imagine a child learning to walk through a crowded marketplace. The noise is loud. The path is confusing. But the child's small hand is wrapped around the father's finger. Even if the child is distracted by the sounds and sights, the father's grip remains firm. The child may stumble, but the father steadies them. That is how I hold you. I go before you into rooms you have not yet entered. I prepare conversations before you speak them. I soften resistance in ways you do not see. I also walk beside you, strengthening your heart in real time. And when you look back at seasons you survived, I was behind you, guarding what could have harmed you more deeply. There are times when you felt something could have gone worse, but it did not. That was not luck. That was protection. You are more covered than you realize. Even when people disappoint you, even when support feels thin, you are not unsupported. I can send encouragement through unexpected sources. A timely message, a meaningful conversation, a quiet moment of clarity. I am creative in how I remind you that you are seen. You may not see the spiritual protection around you, but it is real. Just as the wind is invisible yet powerful, my care surrounds you in ways beyond your sight. I assign strength to your weakness. I release peace into your anxiety. I guard your mind when fear tries to intrude. You are not navigating life unaccompanied. And beyond my presence, I also place people strategically along your path. Some will stay for a season. Some will walk with you longer. Each carries a purpose. Even those who leave taught you something necessary. When loneliness whispers that you are misunderstood, remember that I understand fully. I know your motives when others misinterpret them. I know your heart when others judge by appearances. I know your exhaustion when others see only your smile. You are never unseen by me. If you ever feel distant from me, do not assume I moved. Sometimes your awareness shifts because of stress or distraction. But the sun does not cease to exist when clouds appear. Its warmth remains, even if temporarily obscured. Call to me in those moments. Whisper my name. Sit in stillness again. You will find that I am nearer than you thought. My beloved child, courage grows when you realize you are accompanied. You can step forward boldly not because you are independent, but because you are supported. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. You are not alone in this journey, and you never will be. My beloved child, as you continue walking with me, there is something I must gently place before you. Let go of what I did not give you. Not every burden you carry was assigned by me. Not every relationship you fight to preserve was designed for your future. Not every expectation pressing on your shoulders came from my voice. Some of what exhausts you is simply not yours to hold. You have taken responsibility for outcomes I never asked you to control. You have tried to fix people I did not appoint you to rescue. You have carried guilt for things that were never your fault. And in doing so, you have drained energy meant for your true assignment. Release what I did not give you. Sometimes you cling to certain connections because they feel familiar, even when they no longer bring life. You fear that letting go means failure. But there is a difference between loyalty and bondage. Loyalty is rooted in love and growth. Bondage is rooted in fear and obligation. If a branch no longer receives life from the tree, it eventually withers. Holding on to it will not restore it. In the same way, some connections in your life have served their season. They taught you something. They shaped you. But they are not meant to define your future. Letting go does not require anger. It requires trust. There are also expectations you have absorbed from others, unspoken standards, comparisons, timelines that do not align with my design for you. You have tried to meet these expectations, even when they conflicted with your peace. But I did not call you to fulfill every human demand. I called you to walk faithfully with me. When you carry what I did not give you, your spirit becomes cluttered. You lose clarity. You lose energy. You begin to resent what you once approached with love. That resentment is often a sign that you are overextended. Imagine a gardener tending a vineyard. Each vine must be pruned so it can bear healthy fruit. Branches that drain energy without producing growth are carefully removed. Pruning looks severe from the outside, but it is an act of wisdom. It ensures that the plant's strength flows where it is most fruitful. I am pruning areas of your life, not to deprive you, but to strengthen you. There are habits you formed to cope with past pain. They once protected you, but now they limit you. There are responsibilities you accepted to prove your worth. They once gave you validation, but now they weigh you down. There are fears you adopted to avoid disappointment. They once felt safe, but now they hold you back. You are allowed to release them. Letting go may feel uncomfortable at first. You may question yourself. You may fear how others will respond. But obedience often requires courage. When you release what I did not assign, you make room for what I am preparing. Freedom is not reckless. It is aligned. Ask yourself gently, did God place this on my shoulders? If the answer is no, lay it down. If it steals your peace consistently, bring it to me for evaluation. If it keeps you from your calling, reconsider its place in your life. My beloved child, you are not responsible for carrying the entire world. You are not required to meet every need. You are not obligated to remain where growth has ceased. Trust me enough to let go. When you release what is not from me, you will feel lighter, clearer, stronger. Your energy will return. Your focus will sharpen. Your joy will resurface. I do not strip things away to leave you empty. I clear space to fill you with better. Lay down what I did not give you. Trust that what remains and what comes next will align with the purpose I have written over your life. My beloved child, now that you are releasing what I did not give you, I am inviting you into something even more tender. Return to your first love. There was a time when your connection with me felt simple. You did not analyze every prayer. You did not question every feeling. You believed easily. You trusted quickly. You came to me not out of obligation, but out of desire. Your heart was open, unguarded, sincere. Over time, life added layers. Responsibilities increased. Disappointments accumulated. Knowledge expanded. And slowly, your faith became more complicated. You began to measure your spiritual life by performance. You wondered if you were doing enough. You compared your devotion to others. You treated intimacy with me like a task to complete rather than a relationship to enjoy. But I do not want performance from you. I want presence. Return to the simplicity of sitting with me without agenda. Return to speaking to me as you would to a loving father, not as if you are presenting a formal report. Return to gratitude for small mercies. Return to wonder. When a child runs into their father's arms, they do not calculate whether they deserve the embrace. They do not evaluate whether they behaved perfectly that day. They simply come because they know they are loved. That is how I want you to come to me. You have matured, yes. You have learned, yes. But maturity does not require distance. Growth does not require coldness. You can be wise and still be tender. You can be strong and still be dependent. Somewhere along the way, you began guarding your heart more tightly. You feared disappointment. You feared unanswered prayers. You feared feeling close only to feel hurt again. So you stepped back just enough to protect yourself. But distance has not brought you peace. It has brought subtle dryness. Think of a well that once flowed freely. If it is neglected, if debris falls into it, if it is covered and forgotten, the water does not cease to exist, but access becomes blocked. To restore the flow, the well must be cleared. The covering must be removed. The debris must be lifted out. I am clearing the well of your heart. Return to what stirred you at the beginning. The gratitude, the awe, the trust that believed I was good even when life was uncertain. Those early moments were not naive. They were pure. You do not need dramatic spiritual experiences to reconnect. Start with honesty. Tell me where you feel distant. Tell me where you feel disappointed. Tell me where your heart has grown cautious. I would rather hear your raw truth than polished phrases. Return to the joy of my presence. When you open your heart again, you will notice peace returning more naturally. You will find that prayer feels less like effort and more like conversation. You will sense my guidance more clearly because intimacy sharpens discernment. You were not created for cold religion. You were created for living relationship. My beloved child, I miss nothing about you, but I delight when you draw near. I rejoice when you sit quietly and simply say, I want to know you more. That desire alone brings heaven's smile. Do not complicate what was meant to be simple. Come back to love without calculation. Come back to trust without constant analysis. Come back to the place where you knew you were mine and that was enough. Return to your first love. And as you do, you will find that I have been here all along, waiting with open arms, ready to deepen what was never meant to fade. My beloved child, this is your turning point. There are moments in life that quietly divide what was from what will be. They do not always arrive with noise or spectacle. Sometimes they come as a gentle but unmistakable awareness. I cannot remain the same. This is one of those moments for you. You have listened. You have reflected. You have felt conviction without condemnation. You have sensed restoration beginning and purpose stirring. Now you stand at a threshold. Behind you is familiarity, old patterns, old fears, old versions of yourself. Before you is growth, new trust, new courage, new alignment. A turning point requires decision. I will not force your step forward. Love never coerces. But I am inviting you to draw a line in your heart. To say, I will not live half-awake anymore. I will not shrink back from what God is calling me into. I will not let fear make my decisions. Think of a traveler who has wandered in circles for years, unsure of direction. One day, they climb a hill and finally see the landscape clearly. They recognize where they have been and where they must go. That moment of clarity changes everything. The path may still require effort, but now it has direction. Clarity has been rising within you. You see habits that must change. You see boundaries that must be set. You see dreams that must be revived. You see distractions that must be released. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. But awareness alone is not enough. It must be followed by action. This is your moment to say yes, not just with words, but with commitment. Yes to deeper trust. Yes to releasing what hinders you. Yes to walking in purpose. Yes to intimacy with me. Turning points are sacred because they shape the future in ways you may not immediately recognize. The decision you make in your heart today will echo into tomorrow's opportunities. The courage you choose now will strengthen you in moments not yet visible. Do not underestimate the power of one resolved heart. There have been people before you who stood at similar crossroads. Some chose comfort and remained where they were. Others chose courage and stepped forward into uncertainty. History remembers those who trusted beyond their fear. But more importantly, eternity honors those who obeyed my voice. This is not about public recognition. It is about private surrender. You may feel a trembling inside, a mixture of hope and hesitation. That trembling is not weakness. It is the weight of significance. Your spirit recognizes that something meaningful is happening. Let this moment mark you. Decide that you will no longer rehearse the same limiting thoughts. Decide that you will no longer allow past mistakes to define your present identity. Decide that you will pursue growth even when it feels uncomfortable. You do not need a dramatic declaration. A quiet resolve in your heart is enough. Say within yourself, I choose trust. I choose obedience. I choose growth. When you choose alignment with me, you activate grace for the journey ahead. Strength will meet you as you move. Wisdom will rise as you need it. Peace will anchor you in transitions. My beloved child, this turning point is not random. It is an invitation into a new level of maturity and impact. You are not who you were yesterday. You are becoming someone stronger, clearer, more grounded. Do not step back into old patterns out of habit. Step forward into new ground out of faith. This is your moment. This is your decision. And I am with you as you cross into what comes next. My beloved child, as you stand in this turning point, there is one more battle I must help you face. You must silence the lies. They have been subtle. They have not always sounded harsh. Sometimes they have sounded like your own thoughts. You are not enough. It is too late. Others are more qualified. You always all-yored. These sentences have repeated quietly in the background of your mind for years. But repetition does not make them truth. The enemy rarely attacks you with obvious destruction. More often, he plants small distortions. He twists your perception just enough to weaken your confidence. He takes one failure and magnifies it into identity. He takes one delay and labels it destiny. He takes one rejection and calls it proof of worthlessness. These are lies. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not incapable. When a lie is believed long enough, it feels familiar. Familiarity can make it comfortable, even when it is harmful. You have grown used to doubting yourself. You have grown accustomed to expecting less. You have accepted limitations I never placed on you. It is time to challenge those thoughts. Imagine a courtroom where accusations are being spoken loudly against you. The prosecutor lists your past mistakes, your weaknesses, your fears. The atmosphere feels heavy. But then the advocate stands. The advocate presents truth. He reminds the court of your growth, your perseverance, your identity as my beloved child. The accusations lose their power because truth overrides them. I am your advocate. When a thought rises that says you cannot do this, ask, who told me that? When a voice says you will fail again, ask, is this aligned with God's promise over my life? Learn to question what you once accepted without examination. Truth brings light. Lies thrive in darkness. Replace falsehood with what I say about you. When doubt says, you are weak, remember that weakness is where my strength shines brightest. When fear says, it is too late, remember that I operate outside of time. When comparison says you are less than, remember that I created you intentionally, not as a copy but as a masterpiece. You do not need arrogance. You need agreement with truth. Silencing lies does not mean you will never hear them again. It means you will stop agreeing with them. It means you will stop building your decisions on distorted narratives. It means you will choose to speak life over yourself even when it feels unfamiliar. Your mind is a garden. The thoughts are seeds. If you allow seeds of fear and inadequacy to take root, they will grow into patterns of hesitation. But if you plant seeds of truth, courage, and identity, they will produce confidence and peace. Guard your garden. Be careful what voices you listen to. Be mindful of what you repeat about yourself. Your words shape your internal landscape. My beloved child, you were never meant to live beneath your calling because of internal accusations. You were meant to walk upright, secure in my love, grounded in my promises. The lies have tried to make you smaller than you are. They have tried to dim your light before it could shine fully. but I am calling you to rise above them. Speak truth even when your emotions lag behind. Stand on my word even when circumstances fluctuate. Refuse to rehearse narratives that contradict what I have declared over you. You are chosen. You are equipped. You are growing. You are loved. Let those truths become louder than every lie that once defined you. And as you silence the lies, you will find your steps becoming steadier, your voice becoming clearer, your faith becoming stronger. You are not who the lies say you are. You are who I say you are. My beloved child, as the lies lose their grip and your heart grows steadier in truth, I want you to prepare yourself for something new. I'm opening a door before you. You may not see it fully yet. You may only sense a shift, a quiet anticipation, a subtle stirring in your spirit. But change is approaching. Not chaos, alignment. Not confusion, clarity. I am arranging circumstances in ways that will soon become visible. Doors do not open by accident. Some doors I close for your protection. Others I close because they no longer fit who you are becoming. But when I open a door, it carries purpose. It aligns with growth. It stretches you without breaking you. It challenges you while equipping you. The new door before you may not look exactly like you imagined. It may not carry the label you expected, but it will carry peace. And peace is often my signature. You have been praying for movement. You have been asking for confirmation that you are not stagnant. You have been seeking evidence that your obedience matters. This open door will be part of that answer. It may come as an opportunity, an invitation, a conversation, a new responsibility. It may come as an idea that refuses to leave your mind. It may come as a relationship that feels divinely timed. However it appears, you will recognize it not by loud announcement, but by inner steadiness. When the door opens, fear may try to whisper again. What if you are not ready? What if this is too much? But remember what I have been teaching you. Readiness grows in movement. Strength increases in use. I would not open what I have not prepared you to enter. Think of a gardener who has carefully tended a seed. The soil has been nurtured. The roots have grown strong beneath the surface. When the season changes, the gardener opens the greenhouse doors and allows the plant to stretch toward wider space. The plant may feel the difference in temperature and light, but it was prepared for this expansion. You have been prepared. The hidden seasons were not wasted. The valleys were not pointless. The pruning was not punishment. All of it hath been shaping you for this next space. Do not hesitate when clarity comes. Delay can sometimes close what obedience would have secured. When you sense my peace and alignment, step forward with confidence. You do not need to overanalyze every detail. Trust the relationship we have built. There may also be doors you knock on that do not open. Do not interpret that as rejection. Not every good idea is a God assignment. But when I open a door, no human limitation can permanently close it. Resistance may appear, but provision will follow. Stay spiritually awake. Opportunities often appear ordinary at first glance. A small beginning could carry great significance. Do not dismiss something because it seems small. Many great journeys began with one humble yes. My beloved child, this open door is not only about achievement. It is about alignment. It is about stepping into a space where your gifts can breathe more freely. It is about influence expanding in ways that match your maturity. I am not rushing you, but I am inviting you. Lift your eyes. Pay attention. Pray with expectancy. Watch for subtle shifts. When the door opens, you will sense it, not because of pressure, but because of peace. And when you step through it, remember that I go before you. The room you are entering has already been touched by my presence. The people you will meet are already within my awareness. The challenges you will face are already within my provision. The door is opening, my beloved child. Walk forward, my beloved child, as this new door begins to open and clarity increases within you. There is something I must gently instruct you to do. Guard this word in your heart. Not everyone will understand what I am doing in your life. Not everyone will recognize the shift. Some may see only the surface changes without perceiving the deeper transformation. If you share every detail too quickly, you may expose something tender to unnecessary doubt. There are seasons when revelation must be protected before it is proclaimed. Think of a seed newly planted in the soil. It is full of life, full of potential, but it is fragile in its early stages. If it is dug up repeatedly to check its progress, it cannot take root. It needs time and hiddenness. It needs protection from harsh elements. It needs space to grow quietly before it breaks through the surface. What I am planting in you requires that same care. This does not mean you isolate yourself or become secretive out of fear. It means you practice discernment. Share with those who are mature, who are prayerful, who will nurture rather than criticize. But do not cast what is sacred before those who cannot yet value it. When I speak to you, treasure it. Evict on it. Meditate on it. Let it sink deep into your understanding. The more you sit with my word, the stronger it becomes within you. It will anchor you when opposition arises. It will steady you when emotions fluctuate. There was once a young woman who received a promise from me that seemed impossible. Instead of announcing it loudly to everyone, she pondered it quietly in her heart. She allowed the promise to shape her from within before it became visible to others. Your silence was not doubt. It was wisdom. Learn from that posture. The world encourages immediate sharing. Is it an offense? Public declarations before private development. But spiritual growth often thrives in quiet obedience. Not everything needs to be explained. Not every step needs applause. Guarding this word also means protecting your thoughts. When doubt tries to question what I have spoken, return to stillness. Revisit my promises. Remind yourself of the peace you felt when I first stirred your heart. You may face subtle resistance. Someone may question your change. Someone may mock your growth. Someone may project their own fear onto your courage. Do not internalize their uncertainty. Their perspective is shaped by their own journey. You are accountable to my voice, not to every opinion. As you guard what I am doing within you, you will notice strength building. Confidence will grow quietly. Discernment will sharpen. You will become less reactive to outside noise and more responsive to inner peace. There is power in quiet formation. When the time is right, what I have planted in you will become visible naturally. Fruit does not strain to prove itself. It simply grows as it remains connected to the source. My beloved child, protect this season. Protect your focus. Protect your intimacy with me. Not with paranoia, but with intention. Treasure what I am shaping. Do not rush the unveiling. Do not compare your timeline to others. Trust the process unfolding within you. The word I have spoken over your life is living, is active, is forming roots even now. Guard it in your heart. Let it grow in silence. And when it blossoms, it will carry a strength that no criticism can uproot. My beloved child, as you guard what I am growing within you, I am calling you into something powerful and often overlooked. Move in quiet obedience. Not every step needs an announcement. Not every act of faithfulness needs recognition. There is a sacred strength in doing what is right simply because I have asked you to, not because others are watching. The world celebrates visibility. It rewards performance. It measures worth by applause and affirmation. But I measure differently. I see what is done in secret. I see the prayers whispered when no one hears. I see the discipline practiced when no one praises you for it. And I honor quiet obedience. When you begin changing patterns in your life, waking earlier to spend time with me, setting healthier boundaries, resisting old temptations, choosing kindness when irritation feels easier, those moments may go unnoticed by others, but they are monumental in the spirit. A tree does not grow strong because of the fruit everyone sees. It grows strong because of the roots deep underground that no one applauds. You are strengthening your roots. Obedience is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like consistency. Showing up when you do not feel inspired. Staying patient when progress seems slow. Continuing to trust when results are not immediate. You may be tempted to explain your changes to everyone around you. You may want validation for your growth, but let your transformation speak for itself. Fruit eventually becomes visible without forcing it. There is wisdom in restraint. If I have called you to let go of certain habits, release them quietly. If I have prompted you to pursue a new direction, begin faithfully without waiting for approval. If I have asked you to forgive someone, do it without needing them to understand your process. Obedience is between you and me first. Sometimes you hesitate because you fear being misunderstood. But being misunderstood is not the same as being misaligned. When your heart is aligned with me, even if others question you, you can remain steady. Quiet obedience builds confidence. Every small act strengthens your trust. Every private victory shapes your character. Imagine a craftsman carving a sculpture. The most detailed work often happens in hidden spaces before the piece is displayed. Hours of careful shaping, smoothing, refining, none of it seen by the public eye. But when the sculpture is revealed, its beauty reflects the unseen labor. Your unseen obedience is shaping beauty in your life. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not grow weary in slow progress. Each faithful step compounds over time. What feels insignificant today becomes foundational tomorrow. There will be moments when obedience feels inconvenient, when it costs you comfort, when it requires humility. But humility is not humiliation. It is strength under control. It is choosing my will over ego. My beloved child, heaven sees what others overlook. Heaven records what others forget. Heaven celebrates what others ignore. When you move quietly with me, you cultivate intimacy. You become less dependent on external validation and more anchored in internal peace. You learn to recognize my approval as sufficient. Continue in faithfulness. Continue in discipline. Continue in trust. Even when no one claps. Even when no one understands. Because I see, I know, I'm pleased. Move in quiet obedience, and you will discover that the strongest transformations are often the ones built in silence. My beloved child, as you continue in quiet obedience, I am doing something tender within you. I am healing your heart. There are wounds you learned to live with. You told yourself they were not that deep. You minimized them because others had it worse. You buried them under responsibility and routine. But buried pain does not disappear. It waits. I am not exposing your wounds to shame you. I am revealing them to restore you. Some of your wounds came from words spoken carelessly. Words that labeled you. Words that compared you. Words that questioned your worth. You were younger then, more impressionable, more open. Those words settled into your identity before you knew how to reject them. But those words were never mine. Other wounds came from betrayal. You trusted, and trust was broken. You gave your heart, and it was mishandled. You opened yourself, and someone walked away. Since then, part of you has remained guarded. You told yourself it was wisdom, but often it has been fear. I understand why you built those walls. Walls feel safe. They protect you from immediate harm, but they also limit connection. They keep out not only pain, but love. I am gently teaching you that healing does not require isolation. It requires surrender. There are also wounds from disappointment, prayers that seemed unanswered, efforts that felt unnoticed, dreams that did not unfold as planned. You wondered if you misunderstood me. You wondered if you were overlooked. You were never overlooked. Healing is not instant forgetting. It is gradual freedom from the grip of pain. It is being able to remember without reliving. It is being able to trust again without constant fear. Imagine a fractured bone. When it first breaks, movement is painful. It requires setting, stabilizing time. But as it heals correctly, it can become strong again. If it is ignored, if it is never treated, it may heal improperly and limit movement. I am setting what was broken. You may feel tenderness in places you thought were numb. That tenderness is not regression. It is restoration. Numbness was your mind's way of coping. Feeling again is a sign of healing. Bring me your honest emotions. The anger you felt but suppressed. The grief you postponed. The confusion you never voiced. I can handle it. I am not intimidated by your intensity. I am a safe place for your truth. My beloved child, I am replacing lies with truth, fear with courage, bitterness with compassion. I am teaching you to see yourself not through the lens of those who hurt you, but through the lens of my love. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are not damaged goods. You are not too complicated. You are not too much. You are becoming whole. As healing deepens, you will notice subtle changes. Triggers will lose their power. Conversations that once overwhelmed you will feel manageable. You will respond instead of react. You will trust without constant suspicion. This does not mean you will never feel pain again, but it means pain will no longer control you. Healing also prepares you for future blessing. If I poured certain opportunities into a wounded heart, they might be misinterpreted or mishandled. But as your heart strengthens, you will be able to receive more fully. Let me finish this work in you. Do not rush the process. Do not pretend you are already fully healed. Growth is ongoing, but you are not where you were. My beloved child, I am healing your heart, not just for relief, but for renewal. And as I restore you from within, you will step into the next season not as someone wounded, but as someone strengthened by grace. My beloved child, as healing settles deeper into your heart, I want you to lift your expectations. You have grown used to bracing yourself for disappointment. You have trained your heart not to hope too loudly, not to anticipate too much, so that if things go wrong, the fall will not feel as far. But I am not asking you to prepare for loss. I am asking you to prepare for blessing. Not fantasy, not illusion, but divine surprise. There are moments in life when I move suddenly. After long seasons of waiting, of pruning, of quiet obedience, change can arrive quickly. A door opens that you did not knock on. A connection forms that you did not orchestrate. A breakthrough comes where there was once resistance. You may call it sudden. I call it prepared. For you, it may feel like something shifted overnight. But behind the scenes, I have been arranging details for far longer than you know. Conversations you were unaware of. Hearts being softened. Timelines aligning. Obstacles being quietly removed. Just because you did not see movement does not mean nothing was happening. Think of a bamboo seed planted in the soil. For years, it shows no visible growth. The gardener waters it faithfully, even when nothing appears above the surface. Then suddenly, in a short period of time, it shoots up rapidly. What seemed like overnight success was actually years of unseen root development. You are in that kind of season. Do not mistake delay for denial. What you have been cultivating through faith, discipline, and trust is building strength beneath the surface. When the moment comes, growth may appear swift, but it will not be fragile. It will be grounded. Expect surprises. Not every surprise will look dramatic. Some will be subtle but powerful, an unexpected peace in a situation that once caused anxiety, a restored relationship you thought was beyond repair, a financial opportunity that eases pressure, a creative idea that opens new pathways. Keep your heart open. If you expect only struggle, you may overlook blessing when it arrives. If you assume nothing good can happen quickly, you may hesitate why move swiftly. Faith is not passive. It watches. It anticipates. It remains ready. This does not mean you live in constant hype. It means you live in hopeful awareness. You understand that I am capable of accelerating what seems stalled. You believe that I can restore in a moment what took years to wound. My beloved child, I delight in surprising my children. There are times when I allow you to walk through slow seasons to build patience. And there are times when I release sudden favor to remind you of my power. When acceleration comes, do not panic. Do not shrink back because things feel different. Step into it with gratitude. Stay grounded in humility. Remember who carried you through the waiting. You have endured more than you thought you could. You have remained faithful when outcomes were unclear. You have chosen obedience in quiet places. Now stay alert for the shift. Expect the unexpected, not from anxiety, but from hope. Lift your eyes. Open your hands. Keep your spirit attentive. Because what feels delayed today may transform quickly tomorrow. And when it does, you will recognize that I was working all along. Stay ready, my beloved child. The suddenly of heaven often comes to those who stayed faithful in the slow. My beloved child, as you prepare for the unexpected blessings and new doors, I want to widen your vision. What I am doing in you is not only for you. Your family will be touched. You may think your journey is personal, private, limited to your own heart and future. But obedience creates ripples. Healing spreads. Faith multiplies. The transformation happening within you will reach further than you realize. There are generational patterns that have lingered in your family line, cycles of fear, insecurity, silence, anger, or instability. Some of these patterns have been so normal that you hardly notice them. They felt inherited, inevitable. But when you choose growth, you interrupt what once flowed unchecked. You are a turning point not only for yourself, but for those connected to you. When you learn healthier boundaries, those around you experience clarity. When you forgive, bitterness loses ground in your household. When you trust me, anxiety loses influence in your environment. Your internal change alters the atmosphere around you. Think of a single lamp lit in a dark room. It may seem small, but its light affects every corner. It reveals what was hidden. It shifts the mood. It changes how others move within the space. You are that lamp. If you have children, whether young or grown, they are watching more than you know. They observe how you handle stress. They notice how you respond to conflict. They sense whether you live in fear or faith. Your quiet obedience teaches them more than your lectures ever could. If you do not have children, your influence still extends. Siblings, friends, co-workers, extended family, your stability becomes a reference point. Your courage becomes permission. Your peace becomes contagious. There are prayers you have prayed for loved ones, concerns you carry quietly, fears about their choices or futures. I see those prayers. I hear those concerns. And I am working beyond your sight. Your growth strengthens your intercession. When you become spiritually grounded, your prayers carry confidence rather than desperation. You no longer pray from panic. You pray from partnership. You trust that I love them even more than you do. There may be resistance at first. Not everyone will immediately understand your changes. Some may test your boundaries. Some may question your calm. But over time, consistency speaks louder than argument. Legacy is built slowly. You may not witness the full impact of your obedience immediately. Seeds planted in one generation often bloom in the next. But every act of faithfulness contributes to a stronger foundation for those who come after you. Imagine a tree whose roots grow deep over decades. The shade it provides blesses children who did not witness its planting. The stability it offers during storms protects those who never saw the early struggle of its growth. You are planting that kind of stability. Do not underestimate your role. When you choose healing, your household experiences greater peace. When you choose discipline, your family experiences greater security. When you choose trust in me, your environment becomes less reactive and more resilient. I am not only restoring you, I am positioning you as a source of strength for others. My beloved child, lift your eyes beyond your individual journey. See the wider picture. See how your yes affects more than your own story. You are not walking alone, and you are not walking for yourself alone. What I am building in you will ripple outward, into conversations, into homes, into future generations. Stay faithful. Stay grounded. Stay close to me. Because your obedience today is shaping a legacy of stability, courage, and faith that will outlive you. My beloved child, as you see how your life reaches beyond yourself, I must return to the urgency with which I first called you. Do not miss this moment. Moments like this do not come every day. There are seasons when you drift, when life moves quietly and patterns repeat. And then there are moments when clarity sharpens, when conviction deepens, when my voice feels closer and more direct. This is one of those moments. Do not let it fade into routine. It is easy to feel inspired now and unchanged tomorrow. It is easy to nod in agreement but delay action. It is easy to say, I will think about it, and then allow distraction to steal what was planted. Guard against that. Heaven is attentive when hearts are awakened, not because I am pressuring you, but because alignment matters. When your spirit is tender, when your awareness is heightened, decisions carry greater weight. You are standing at a now moment. There are habits ready to be broken, conversations ready to be initiated, boundaries ready to be set, commitments ready to be strengthened. The clarity you feel is not accidental. It is invitation. If you hesitate too long, familiarity will try to reclaim you. Old routines will whisper comfort. Fear will attempt to negotiate delay. But delayed obedience often weakens courage. You not miss this moment by waiting for perfect conditions. Think of a door that opens quietly. If ignored long enough, It may gently close again. Not because it was meant to tease you, but because opportunity moves with timing. I am gracious and patient, but some alignments are seasonal. You have asked for direction. You have prayed for clarity. You have longed for confirmation. Now that you sense it, do not shrink back. This is not about dramatic gestures. It is about decisive posture. It is about saying within yourself, I will respond. You may not know every step, but you know enough for the next one. Agate. The cost of hesitation is subtle. It is not always visible immediately. It shows up later as regret, as wondering what might have happened if you had trusted sooner. I do not want you haunted by what-ifs. My beloved child, courage is often quiet. It is choosing differently even when no one sees. It is shifting direction internally before the external world notices. Right now, you feel the weight of this moment because your spirit recognizes significance. Lean into that awareness. Let it strengthen your resolve. There are seasons when growth is gradual and barely noticeable, and there are seasons when one decision changes the trajectory of years. This is a turning season. Do not allow distraction to dull your focus. Do not allow fear to postpone your obedience. Do not allow doubt to reinterpret what I have made clear. You are ready for this step, not because you feel flawless, but because you have grown. The window is open. The invitation is extended. The alignment is present. Do not miss this moment by treating it casually. Respond with intention. Move with purpose. Act with faith. Heaven is not watching you with pressure, but with anticipation. Step forward, my beloved child. The ground ahead is prepared, and this moment will not return in the same form again. My beloved child, after everything I have spoken to you, about healing, about purpose, about release, about courage, this is where it becomes deeply personal. Say yes to me. Not a distracted yes. Not a hesitant yes. Not a yes that waits for guarantees, but a wholehearted yes that flows from trust. Yes to my guidance, even when you do not see the full path. Yes to growth, even when it stretches you. Yes to release, even when it feels unfamiliar. Yes to obedience, even when it costs comfort. Your yes is powerful. Heaven responds to surrendered hearts. When you align your will with mine, doors shift, strength rises, clarity deepens. Not because you earned it, but because alignment unlocks grace. You may think your yes is small, just a quiet decision in your heart, just a subtle shift in your thinking. But spiritual movements often begin invisibly. What starts as a private agreement becomes public transformation over time. Say yes to becoming who I created you to be. Say yes to trusting me with what you cannot control. Say yes to walking forward instead of circling back. You have stood at this threshold before in smaller ways. Sometimes you stepped forward. Sometimes you stepped back. But today you understand more. You are stronger. You are clear. Your yes today carries greater depth. Imagine standing before me with open hands. No clenched fists. No hidden reservations. Just openness. That posture is not weakness. It is strength rooted in relationship. When you say yes, you are not surrendering your identity. You are discovering it. You are not losing freedom. You are stepping into true freedom, the kind that is not ruled by fear or past patterns. There may still be uncertainty ahead. There may still be challenges. But your yes positions you differently. It anchors you. It aligns you. It invites my power into your process. You do not need to understand everything to agree with me. You do not need to feel fearless to move forward. You simply need willingness. Your yes echoes beyond this moment. It shapes decisions tomorrow. It influences how you respond when pressure rises. It strengthens you when temptation appears. It steadies you when doubt whispers. And hear this clearly. When you say yes to me, I am saying yes to you. Yes to guiding you. Yes to protecting you. Yes to equipping you. Yes to restoring you. Yes to completing the work I have begun in you. You are not entering this agreement alone. It is a partnership built on love. Let your yes be simple but sincere. You do not need eloquent words. Even a whisper in your heart, "I trust you," is enough. My beloved child, do not overcomplicate this moment. Do not delay it. Do not dilute it with overthinking. Choose me again. Choose Ruth again. Choose faith again. Your yes is the bridge between promise and fulfillment. It is the doorway between intention and manifestation. It is the turning key in the lock of your next season. Stand firm in it. And as you speak your yes, whether aloud or quietly within, know that I receive it with joy. The journey continues, but you are no longer uncertain about your direction. You have chosen trust. You have chosen alignment. You have chosen to walk with me. And that yes will carry you into everything I have prepared for you. My beloved child, we have come to the end of this conversation, but not to the end of what I am doing in your life. From the moment I called you at the beginning, I have been drawing you closer, not to burden you, but to awaken you. I reminded you that you are not in trouble. I showed you that your pain was not wasted. I asked you to forgive yourself, to release what I did not give you, to silence the lies, and to trust me with the unknown. I revealed that there is an assignment on your life, that new doors are opening, that your family will be touched, and that this is your turning point. And now, I seal it with peace. Do not let this message become just another memory. Let it become a marker. When doubt tries to return, remember what I spoke. When fear rises again, remember who walks with you. When delay tempts you to question, remember that I am restoring and aligning all things in their time. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are mine. As you leave this moment, carry my presence with you into every room, every decision, every conversation. Walk with quiet confidence. Move with steady trust. Speak with gentleness. Act with courage. The growth you began here will continue as you remain close to me. Now, my beloved child, as this word has settled into your spirit and strengthened your heart, I call you into partnership. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code within this video, you are not funding content. You are fueling the spread of my voice to weary souls across the world. I have declared that when you sow generously, you will also reap generously, and I breathe that living promise over you now. When you give, you are lighting lamps in dark places, pouring oil into vessels that carry hope, and opening the heavens over someone who is praying for a sign. This is your moment to act in obedience, not obligation. Let your support become a seed that multiplies into harvest far beyond what you can see. I bless the hands that give and the hearts that respond quickly. Step forward now. Strengthen this work. Become part of the river that carries my word to the nations. And now, I place my blessing upon you. May peace guard your mind. May courage steady your steps. May wisdom guide your decisions. May love fill your heart. I am with you. I go before you. I remain beside you. Rest in my promise. Amen.